The topic tonight was uncovering IPOs. Tonight we had the only 3 businesses that have floated since 2005 in the room. It's almost fallen off the radar in the Northeast, so the aim of tonight was to get 3 guys who've actually been through the process relatively recently to sit down and talk about their experiences and how it's benefited their business.
We went down the IPO, with a view to the long-term future of the business, but also, being a relatively small business, one of the other motivations was things like customer and other partner credibility. Actually being able to list the business, being able to, meet the various hurdles and conditions and sort of barriers you've got to get over to get yourself on the market. That's given us tremendous credibility.
It was really interesting for me. I came because I do know a bit about IPOs and a little bit about the process. I hadn't realised that these were the only 3 that our regions had since 2007, so that was quite an interesting fact. I wanted to hear about the time frames, also the cost of it relative to the amount of money raised, so you get a kind of ratio there of what the costs are going to be in real hard numbers, which was quite useful.
We got quite a long way down the path with private equity, but the reason we didn't do it was that ultimately my view was we were going to lose control of the business, even though we were only going to sell down a minority stake. The reality was that the private equity guys would have had all of the minority protections, changes to the Articles of Association, shareholders agreements, etc. And ultimately we would have lost control overnight.
And it was a question of just looking around the room and saying, well, do we or don't we? Because you've been reeled in so far at this point that it's a question of almost take it or leave it. And I think there's a lot of that goes on in business, that you only hear the bad news just before the deal's going to be done.
A lot of people don't look at IPOs because they think the city are going to be all over them and there's a lot of governance and red tape and they'll be tied up in doing that rather than running their business. In actual fact, what came across tonight is that once you've got the IPO done, you're pretty free to operate your business as you see fit, and that's a key point that a lot of people won't have understood. And I think the Entrepreneurs Forum is fantastic, actually. It's the only networking group, I think, in the region, or certainly the only one I attend, where it's got such a disparate group of people, where it is actually properly entrepreneurs who come to discuss their businesses and problems that they're having and to share their experience. And I think it's an invaluable group.
And I think, probably the biggest challenge that I've found, having done this twice, is it's all very well sort of going away and sort of running this project as an aside, but actually, what's more important is running the business on a day-to-day basis.
It isn't a depressing experience. On the whole thing is a positive thing, because we've got investors there now, blue chip investors as well, who want to put follow-on money in, so that they really would like us to do more acquisitions, and we know that we've got the firepower to go out and do that. Now, if we hadn't IPO'd, we wouldn't have that.